Welcome to In the Furnace, where we talk about what's hot in music, and this is the first episode of the Cynical podcast. Get it? No? Sorry. Whatever. It'll make sense if you just think about it. Anyways, this is hopefully the first of many podcasts in this series. It's been a while since I've ever done podcasting personally, and we came up with this idea, and we're doing it today. So, with me, I have my friend Henry. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, I'm Henry Collier. You can find me on Twitter at Intentional Nachos. Just search my name. There's not many people named Henry Collier. I have a blog where I talk about music that not many people give a crap about. Yeah.
And then also with us today, we have Angus, who I literally just met.
Hey, I'm Angus. You can't find me anywhere. There's not really much else to.
Alrighty. I had this idea. I've been wanting to podcast with Matt for 2 years now, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And then I had this idea, hey, I have a roommate who composes classical music. He's not familiar with popular music. We should
Not
get
at
his flaming hot takes on music he hasn't heard before and record it.
So here we are today discussing the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100. And at the very end, stay tuned because we're going to pick 5 songs from the rest of the chart that we want to talk about and give our thoughts. So we're going to kick this off with number 40, which is Look Back at It by A Boogie with the Hoodie.
The beat is hilarious. Like, I typed down that it's like if DJ Mustard tried to make Gangsta's Paradise. Like, it's got that, oh, as he's talking about, getting goosebumps when he sees the pussy. Um,
He gets those goosebumps every time.
yep. When she throws that to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Great song. Why was it in the Hate You Give trailer? Anyway, like, this movie about police brutality is really going to bait me in with one of the best Travis Scott songs ever, and then take this hard left turn. Oh, her boyfriend got shot by a police officer. This is not the movie you thought it was. Anyway.
I mean, the song is in the movie, but...
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I've seen it. Good movie. But I digress. Look Back at It. I actually like the beat. I even wrote down that I adore it. So I guess we have different tastes in hip hop beats, Henry.
Why, though?
I don't know. Like,
Like-
I think A Boogie is typically given beats that are way better than he deserves. I mean, I don't know if you've heard. No, obviously you've heard Drowning. I mean, that beat is phenomenal. Probably one of
It
the
is.
best rap beats of the decade, I would reckon. And yet it was
That's a
given
little
to.
strong.
Well, it's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. And he like gets that melody with just that like drowning that carries the song for him. Like without those elements set up for him, the song probably wouldn't have been very good. And look
Yeah.
back at it, even though it has a good beat, A Boogie just doesn't really know how to write it, and he's terrible. His voice
He
is
gets
so annoying.
goosebumps, Matt. He gets
Yeah, that was
goosebumps.
when I listened to it. I thought that, I thought that the loop sounded pretty cool, but I don't listen to a lot of hip hop, so it sounded to me like something that might be like a cliche sounding beat. If it sounded like something that a lot of people might do something similar to that. But then it just was immediately ruined when he opened his mouth.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that generic. The choral thing it's got going on is a relatively unique choice. Everything else, though, is very by the numbers, as you can tell from the rest of this chart. So yeah, this was not how I expected to start it off, especially because I do mostly hear good things about A Boogie with the Hoodie. Then again, at some point, all the names start to run together to where I had to remember that he wasn't Playboy Cardi for a second. Please don't shoot me for that opinion.
Wow.
I don't care about Playboy Cardi. I just don't. Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah, probably.
Alrighty, number 39, Shallow by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
The Shallow La La Low. I mean, this
pardon
song
my
was in
mispronunciation.
this song was in the top 20 the last time I did a top 20 ranking on my channel, and I pretty much said everything then that I want to say. So
I'm going to pretend I remember what you said.
I was not expecting to see Bradley Cooper on the top 40.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
that song
is-
hit number 1, dude. It hit number
Yep.
1.
It's the
Really?
weirdest
I
number
didn't know-
one we
yeah,
had
I
this
mean-
year. It got this weird little blip in between Ariana Grande and Ariana Grande where we got Shallow 1 week. I'm
I mean,
just
Bradley
so tired
Cooper
of
has
hearing
a
the
better
song.
voice than I would have thought.
Yeah, he's not a
He
bad
can
singer.
sing.
I'm so tired of it. Also, I don't like steel guitar on absolutely anything in any context whatsoever. I also wrote down Lady Gaga swallows her tonsils
Oh my god.
on that pre-chorus. Also, did anybody else find the mixing kind of weird? Like, it sounds like a live concert, but like, I think Lady Gaga's mic is a lot louder than Bradley Cooper's for some reason. And I don't know, maybe it was just me.
Oh gosh, I do not care for the mixing at all. I mean,
Mm.
if you look at like say "I" by Kendrick Lamar on "To Pimp a Butterfly," that song on the album has mixing set up so that it sounds like it's being performed live, and I think they pull it off. This song does not pull it off at all. It's just they throw in a bunch of crowd noises, and then they make the drums sound like absolute garbage when they come in at the end. But
Yeah.
like otherwise, it just sounds like a typical studio polished song, and
Yeah.
it's not very well mixed.
Everyone's
I'm
mom's
not
favorite
really
song.
a big fan of like songs that aren't live trying to sound like they're live. I don't really get it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was okay. Like, you had like what's it called, Big Brother and the Holding Company. You know, with Janis Joplin. They had a whole album it was like a concept album that it was all live, and that kind of made sense because it was a concept album. But if you just have a song that's like not live and you just try to make it sound live, I never really got it.
Yeah, it's painfully overrated. Like, it's not a bad song by any stretch. I'd rather hear it than spoilers, I guess. I'd rather hear it than Middle Child, but that's not a high bar to clear.
I don't follow the comparison.
I don't know. I just picked a random song and notes that I didn't like. I'd rather hear it than Act Up. There we go.
Oh, that's a perfect comparison.
Yeah. Yes, so many similarities between Oscar Bate, adult alternative ballad, and an ass anthem.
Oh yes.
They're absolutely the same. Now for the first song that I didn't have to write notes about, "Better" by Khalid.
A much better song than Shallow.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah. I actually had no idea who Khalid was before looking at this chart. But I like it.
This is.
I don't like this
probably-
one as much as the what's the high one? The one that's up there right
Talk.
now. Talk. Yeah, I didn't like this one as much as that one, but
Oh,
it was pretty good.
in my opinion, "Better" is probably his best single. I think
Better than all the rest, you could say.
Yeah,
Let's just
yeah,
drive
so
it into the
that-
ground. Let's.
Yeah. It's definitely better than "Young, Dumb, and Broke."
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that was probably. I listened to a few of his other songs because I hadn't heard of him, and that was probably
Yeah.
the least favorite one that I heard.
"Young, Dumb, and Broke" is fine. It's also a pretty good introduction to like him as an artist. Overweight, happy guy in a tracksuit. It was fun. My family and I have now a tradition where we hate watch New Year's Rockin' Eve and make fun of all the musicians. And he performed. And I don't know, it was kind of like we all mostly liked him. My dad made jokes about him grabbing his crotch like Michael Jackson, but otherwise, like he seems so happy to be where he's at. He also has the same birthday as me. He is exactly 1 year older than I am,
Oh wow.
which I think is cool.
Younger than I thought he would have been.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic voice, and this is, in my opinion, a probably. Actually, no, I might like East Side better, but it's his best solo single, definitely. Yeah,
I would go
Matt,
as far to say that this is like easily my favorite Khalid single, and honestly one of my favorite songs in the top 40 right now. There isn't a whole lot here that I actually really love, but this song is definitely up there for me.
yeah, it's definitely one of the best songs. Number 37, "Look What God Gave Her" by Thomas Rhett.
Yeehaw.
I don't think I
Yeehaw,
listened.
indeed.
I don't think I actually
Oh.
listened to Oh, wait, no, you know what? I think I did, and I forgot about it.
Yeah, it's not that memorable. It's Thomas Rhett drooling over some girl while also talking about God occasionally.
Yeah, let me...
You know, as country
This-
artists do.
Yes. Fun fact that Angus may not know:
I did listen to this one, yeah.
Thomas Rhett had a really, really, really good song last year called "Marry Me," and this song is basically the polar opposite.
To me,
In
it didn't
every
even
way.
sound like a country song. Like, it just sounded like a pop song to me. Like, there was nothing to
No,
really...
no. See, it's pop, but he sings through his nose, so it's country. That's all you got to do.
I mean, there was nothing about it. Like, I don't think there was even an acoustic guitar on it. Was there? I don't remember. But, like,
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't even
I can't-
classify this as a country song.
I couldn't tell you what it sounded like if I had to. I just remember the lyrical conceit. Also, Thomas Rhett talking about this girl having haters. Is that the whitest thing, or is it not?
I feel like anytime anybody says haters, it like
Yeah.
nobody who isn't white has ever.
Where are my
Yeah.
haters? Where are my haters?
Whenever I think of
ain't
haters, I
got
think
'em.
of like douchey YouTubers.
Yeah. Or Taylor Swift. And we'll get to that, too.
Or AJR, which I just
Oh,
referenced.
yeah. See, I've only heard 2 AJR songs, and I try to keep it that way.
Yeah, you really
Nope,
should
3.
keep it that way.
I've heard 3, and they were enough.
Hmm.
Oh my god, Angus, do you remember when Weak was everywhere? Like, I don't know why that is the song that the student body decided to latch on
Wait,
to.
when what was
Weak by AJR.
weak? I don't know that
Angus-
song by
Angus,
by
would you
name.
like, or, I'm
but-
sorry, Matt, would you like to do your impression of it?
Oh gosh. Which part? Like,
You know what part,
oh, I can try.
please.
Ooh,
Ring any bells?
I'm listening to it right now. I don't think I remember it.
Oh, never mind. It got played a lot at like our sports games and at events and stuff. And
See,
I
that's
heard
why I
I
didn't
heard
hear it.
multiple students listening to it outside of those contexts too, like in the theater department especially. Theater kids, the worst taste in music.
Oof.
Well, yeah.
I love all my friends in the theater department, but y'all need to have standards now. Anyway,
You know
Yeah.
what I would rather listen to than Weak? Earthquake by Tyler the Creator, and I actually don't even like this song very much at all.
yeah,
I was pretty disappointed by Igor as an album. Like, it's not bad, but it's definitely a step down from Flower Boy, at least in my opinion, in terms of production and overall sound. And Tyler, like, isn't even really rapping anymore. He's more like singing, and it just
Yeah, it was not what I
Yeah.
expected from Tyler the Creator on like a song that he has on the charts. Like,
yeah.
it wasn't really that much of a rap song, really.
Yeah. Like, this felt like a really poor attempt to do like one of those songs at the back of the saturation tapes where it's mostly bareface. You know what I mean, Matt?
I do. It
Like,
does kind of have
the
that
beat- the beat
Brockhampton
especially-
sound.
The beat especially, like, it felt not unfinished, but like there were parts missing.
Yeah.
I did like the piano intro though. That was cool. Playboy Cardi is there on it, I guess. I did like the vocal multi-tracking that Tyler did in spots. That was nice. Very, I don't know. Who in R&B does really good multi-tracking? Khalid, I guess, maybe? I don't know. Also, it cuts off really suddenly. I
Oh,
assume
true.
that's because it fades into the next song.
I think so, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I guess Tyler the Creator has such a distinct like style
Yeah.
in terms of like rapping and visually, and I guess he's trying to branch out with this.
Oh, he's been branching out.
See, I haven't been following him, so I could. But,
Yeah.
Uh,
After he came out, his music changed very dramatically.
see, I haven't really heard anything that he put out before then, so listening to this, it was a little jarring.
Oh, I did see Goblin on vinyl at a record store. Me and my little brother were looking around for stuff he could get for his record player, and I thought about getting it. I didn't. But it would have made a nice contrast to the Vampire Weekend vinyl that he got.
That's true.
Omerta by Drake? I think
Yep.
I pronounced that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
number 35, Omerta.
I got real tired of it about halfway through. Like, it's fine. It has nothing to do with the NBA whatsoever. But after about a minute 45 seconds, I was ready to move.
Yeah, I find that with a lot of Drake songs. For me personally, like I get tired of them real quick,
Yeah.
and I don't really know what it is. I don't know if it's his something about his delivery or his voice or what, or if it's just his lyrics. But I've always found him kind of hard to listen to.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't dislike this song. I just
Yeah,
it's
I don't
pretty-
find him I don't find him offensively bad. Like, you know, there are
Yeah,
a few rappers that I can't listen to a single second of, but it's just it never really hit me the right way, you know.
Yeah. It's a very room temperature song, which is not what you want when Drake's trying to be hype.
Yeah.
But this has been kind of a reoccurring thing for at least 3 years now. I mean, look at Pop Style from 2016. That song
Hey, I
was...
like pop style.
But the beat in that song is so dull and Drake sounds so bored, and Omerta is not much better, honestly.
I kind of like the beat to pop style. At least it has like an aesthetic to it.
Yeah, if your aesthetic is gray, and more gray, then sure.
I was actually gonna say it has like a very black aesthetic to it, very similar to like "Blessings" by Big Sean. Maybe it's just me. I will say though, Kanye and Jay-Z were completely checked out for that song. Not that I can blame them, really.
They were. I guess overall, when it comes to songs with Drake on them, I would much rather listen to number 34, which is Going Bad by Meek Mill and Drake.
Every time I hear this, I am surprised by how good it is. Like, for context, Meek Mill, usually his flow more resembles yelling than actual rapping. Like, everything he does is a loud proclamation where he sounds like he's out of breath. So this song is a really nice, refreshing change of pace for him. And the beat's good, and Drake actually sounds awake for this one.
I got more slaps than the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he does. You can't deny it.
Oh, I ain't denying it. What do you think, Angus?
Yeah, I didn't really have many thoughts about this one, to be honest. I think when I got down to like 30, I was kind of just, I wasn't taking notes anymore. And only the ones that like really stood out were the ones that stuck in my head. And this one to me just didn't really stand out.
That's fair.
All right.
Also, I don't know anything about Meek Mill. I've literally never, I don't know a single other song by him.
Okay.
Do you remember that, was it Back to Back by Drake?
No.
Okay. So Meek Mill and Drake a few years ago were feuding. And they traded diss tracks over the as you do. Let me shut my door. I have a
Bark.
chihuahua. Anyway, so he and Meek Mill trading diss tracks as you do, and then Drake, around the same time that Hotline Bling came out, absolutely eviscerated him. Like, it once and for all established, Drake can in fact rap when he wants to. And then Meek Mill went to jail for reasons that I don't remember. And once he got out, he and Drake made up. Showed up at a bunch of NBA games, and they made this song.
Actually, no, I think part of my issue with Drake is that he's so incredibly famous and popular that a lot of his songs just feel like he's calling it into me, because he could like put out anything and he'd make a ton of money off of it. And that's what a lot of his songs feel like to me.
That's totally fair.
That's fair. I guess knowing that Meek Mill is capable of worse helps, because I'm not generally a huge fan. Also, its brevity does help.
Absolutely. So then with our next song, we have at number 33, Pure Water by Mustard featuring Amigos. And it really begs the question, why did DJ Mustard decide to just start going by Mustard? Like, do you really want to be referred to as Mustard?
Yeah, when I saw, I hadn't heard of him before this, and when I saw that, I thought that was a very strange name to go by. It's like mayonnaise. Like, that would be my name.
Oh, yeah.
Mayonnaise.
Ultimately, the song itself, I was kind of mixed on. I mean, Migos was pretty standard Migos. They didn't really do anything special here, except for an Offset's verse. He had like this line referencing different strokes, which I don't know. That gives me a little bit of nostalgia, but really the beat is what makes or breaks the song. And that chipmunk sample, the first time it played, I'm like, wow, this is amazing, you know? It's a really nice melody. It's in F minor, which is a solid key.
I don't know what just happened. I cut out. When did I cut out?
I thought you were just being really quiet.
Yeah, same.
Oh.
We're talking about Pure Water.
Okay, good. So was I. I avoided this song when it first came out, and I regret that. Normally I would have reviewed it for my blog and everything, but I had just finished re-listening to Culture 2, which is 27 songs long, and no one should ever listen to the whole thing. Don't do that to yourself. So I was pretty fatigued of Migos, and I regret doing that. This song is fantastic.
I just think it's so funny that you say that, because I was just like saying about how I thought the sample in the beat is fantastic at first, but by the end of the song, I never wanted to hear it again, because just that chipmunk tone got so grating.
Well, as a fan of EDM, I am impervious to all chipmunk tones.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, like DJ Mustard does a really, really good Carnage impression, actually. It sounds a lot like something he would put on one of his albums. I think it's probably Quavo's best verse, maybe ever, which is saying absolutely nothing. Offset's verse is pretty good, and Takeoff is still the best Migo. I think this might be better than Stir Fry, actually. Like, I was debating with myself whether... it's definitely the best Migos song since Stir Fry.
Wow.
I just don't know if I like it more than Stir Fry. Well, I mean, what would really compete with it?
Fair.
Angus, what did you think?
Well, kind of, actually, a lot of the rap songs on this chart were kind of, and like, I don't listen to a lot of rap, so
yeah.
I'm not the best critic of rap, but a lot of them, they were like listenable, and I enjoyed them, but I wouldn't like listen to them over and over again, and there wasn't anything that just really blew me away. And this one, kind of like, you know, the others that we've mentioned, and it might just because we're kind of low down on the chart, but it just didn't really stand out that much to me. When we get up higher, there'll be some that I might have some more thoughts on.
Fair. Moving along, number 32, Act Up by City Girls.
This is one I actually just listened to today. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it
I was
so much.
kind of disgusted, actually.
Yeah,
It's pretty bad.
Their previous song with Cardi B was so over the top that I kind of got into it a little bit. If only because it was more ass anthem than had previously been attempted. Not since Big Sean had we gotten an ass anthem so packed wall to wall with ass. But this is SOB XRBE, but with women instead. Like, they have the same flows as those guys, almost entirely.
This might come out a little sexist, and I don't mean it that way, but what is it with female rappers and this obsession with asses? It's like all of them.
That's not really unique to female rappers.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Ever since 2014, we have been in the era of the ass, as Meghan Trainor did bring booty back. We didn't know booty was. We didn't know that booty was gone, but booty did in fact return.
I don't think it ever left.
from its decades-long hiatus. No, you see, she brought it back because otherwise there was no reason for her to be around, and that certainly couldn't be true.
Your sarcasm is off the wall right now, and I love it.
It's one of my gifts. Lines that stood out to me. I bet your little sister want to look like me. Let's just think about that for a second. What made her think that's a good line? Also, pussy pink, breast cancer.
I totally missed that one. Oh my gosh.
I kind of tuned out the lyrics, actually. After I
realized
what the song, after I realized, what this song is, gonna be, I was like, okay, I know where this is going.
But that's where the gems are. That's where the good stuff is.
Yeah, now I regret it.
Like, I
remember
almost tuned out, and then I heard that. I was like, no.
I remembered the I bet your sister wants to look like me, because in the video, your little sister, right?
Sister.
And in the video, I think that was the line after they like made a really big deal out of it. Like, I think he stopped her and I don't know if you watched the music video, but
I did not. Apparently, Lil Yachty's in it.
Yeah, and he like
Oh no.
I don't know, he's like a director or something, and he like
Oh,
stops
no.
her and like gives her direction on that line, that incredibly important line. And
Oh
so I
dear
remembered
Lord.
that one.
I need to watch this.
Yeah, it was really cringy.
You have anything to add, Matt?
I honestly just thought it was a worse version of Twerk, like straight
Yeah.
up. Even the beat does a lot of similar things, and it's just like, what's the point of this? And why did this get bigger than Twerk? And yet Twerk is the one with Cardi B, and this one doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense.
This is Twerk without Cardi B, and Cardi B was the appeal of Twerk. Moving on to a much better song, East Side by Benny Blanco, Khalid, and Halsey.
Sight.
I actually really, really liked it. I hadn't heard it in full until today, because when I would get on the or listen to it on the radio, I would come in around Halsey's part. Yeah, it's really good. They work really, really well together, which surprised me. Khalid's probably actually the weaker vocalist on this song. He normally wouldn't be, but I don't know.
So is Benny Blanco like a new artist? I've never heard of him either.
He is a producer. He's been around since the turn of the decade, I think.
Oh, really?
He decided to start being the main featured or the main credited artist.
Okay.
He has so many producing credits. If you look through his catalog, like so many, and his reputation is also all over the place. So
that might be
Yeah.
why. I don't know if you watched the music video for this one. I watched basically the music video for all of them. That was what I listened to.
Okay.
It's kind of like an introduction thing. Like he was like
Yeah.
being introduced. So I was wondering what was up with that.
Yeah. Did either of y'all see Halsey's performance of this on SNL?
did not.
No.
It was really, really good. Like that, and another song that we are going to talk about, I think, is what turned me around on Halsey. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. But anyway, yeah, it's great. The beat is very generic, but it works. It's got that very tropical drum beat, but the acoustic, or I don't remember if it's acoustic or regular guitar. The guitar is really good. Halsey's performance is one of her best ever. It's a nice song.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It wasn't like my favorite song on the list, but you know, I did enjoy listening to it.
Yeah.
And I
I mean,
did
there's
like the
some-
music video too. It was you know, had this kind of, I don't know, nostalgic sort of feel to it.
Yeah. Not lo-fi, but like the video version of lo-fi.
Yeah,
aesthetic
yeah.
to it.
Right.
Number 30, Middle Child by J. Cole. Okay, context. Angus and Mai's roommate
When I saw this, that was the first thing I thought of.
swears by J. Cole. He thinks that J. Cole is better than Kendrick. He was convinced, until I showed him that he was incorrect, he was convinced that J. Cole had more chart success than Kendrick Lamar, which is factually incorrect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't really listen to rap music a whole lot, and I knew that was not true.
Yeah. So we've had many a passionate argument over the comparison of the two MCs. And this is one of the songs that he pulled out to try and defend his stance. The others being A Few That I Don't Remember and Wet Dreams, which no one.
I never did this before, no.
I do not want to hear about anyone's first time in a song ever. That was another thing that made me uncomfortable about Look Back at It, was he's talking about how it's her first time. Like, no, keep that to yourself, dude. I do not care. But yeah, no, Middle Child is J. Cole ruminating on his importance in the scene, and I can think of very few things I would not rather listen to him talk about than this. The beat's okay, though.
That's what I was actually about to say. I did like the beat. I kind of like the brass that it had behind it.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for brass in general, in like pop music.
But
yeah.
for brass.
That's good. Matt, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little contrary to you. I really like Middle Child, and I've never been a J. Cole fan. I still think like No Role Models is probably one of the most, disgusting hip hop songs of the decade. Like, not in terms of like explicit content. It's just like morality wise, it disgusts me. even though it has a good beat, so which is why I don't regard it as like an all-time least favorite song or anything like that. But Middle Child, I don't know. I think J. Cole mostly pulls off the lyrical sentiment. There's a few bars here and there that I'm a little bit iffier on, but I think he does a good job here. My only complaint is that the first verse is really long, proportionate to the rest of the song, and then he opens it and ends it with the same few bars, and I think he could have just left them at the beginning and not put them back again at the end and just go into the chorus. And I really love that chorus. Like, the auto-tune's layered really well, and he sounds really good there. So I quite like the song, but I'm still mostly in the negative camp on J. Cole, just in general. Like, I've heard all of his albums. They're all middle of the road, in my opinion. Nothing too great, but yet most of the time not too terrible either. So, yeah.
This is actually where the chart gets a little more interesting, and there's some stronger takes to be had here. Number 29, Never Really Over by Katy Perry.
It's been a while since I've heard a Katy Perry song.
Yeah, she had one really bad album cycle that almost did her in.
Swish, swish, bish.
Still a good song.
It is good.
The Nicki Minaj verse saves it somehow. Anyway, Never Really Over. Outside of Swish Swish is probably her best song since, like, 2013. Let me preface this by saying I'm very, very tired of listening to Zedd in any context whatsoever. I don't understand why he's the it producer for pop music right now, because he's so boring. Also, the hook's kind of, like, awkward. Like, the way the rhythm is parsed is really, really clunky.
Yeah, she starts on a weird beat.
It doesn't flow very well, which is not helped by Zedd's extremely mechanical sounding beat. But outside of that, I mean, it's one of Katy Perry's better vocal performances probably ever. Like, I'd rather hear this than Roar.
Yeah. I've always just kind of felt that Katy Perry was kind of like a middle of the road sort of pop singer. Like,
Yeah.
never really blew my mind, but I thought she had a good voice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say her voice is good, more so just powerful, which made some of her bigger anthems and bigger songs in general, like Firework, actually work, as well as E.T., which I might be one of that opinion. But
I mean, I want to bathe my ape in your Milky Way.
I actually prefer the version without Kanye. But,
well, I think we all do.
But as for Never Really Over, I was pretty unimpressed by the song in general. Like, it's okay, but again, yeah, Zedd in general hasn't made a song that I really like since probably Break Free. And even then, that's a song that a lot of people don't like. So I'm kind of alone in that one. So, yeah, Zedd can go away.
I like Break Free. I like Break Free, but it takes a lot for me to dislike an Ariana Grande song, as we are going to establish later on. Spoilers. Yeah, it's good. I'm glad to see Katy Perry is returning to what she's kind of sort of good at. Next, Beer Never Broke My Heart by Luke Combs. I've heard songs like this my entire life, living where I do, like 2 hours from Nashville. I guess it's funny. I guess, kinda, sorta. The composition's okay. I don't hate it. It's just kind of not white. Well, it is actually white noise, but it's not, I guess, an oversaturated sound or lyrical conceit for me. It's just one that I'm very, very familiar with. That's all I really have to say about it.
I have, like, nothing to add. It's just decent country song.
Angus?
Sorry, my mic was off. I did not realize it. I've been talking this whole time.
Oh, no.
I was just saying, it's not terribly interesting as a country song. I mean, it literally has one of, like, the biggest country cliches in the title. But, you know, I did think it was kind of funny.
Yeah. What's next?
A song that I am much more passionate about at number 27.
Con Calma, Daddy Yankee, Snow, and Katy Perry.
Okay.
Katy Perry. Okay. You go first, Matt.
Let me just preface this by saying this song was getting traction before the Katie remix, and it is way better without her. I adore the original song. It's just got this fun, bouncy groove. I like the piano keys. Daddy Yankee just kind of goes off with his delivery. He always goes so fast. And with this song, he's like sing rapping really fast and goes up into his upper range, and it actually really works. And the appearance from Snow is a little cheesy, but in the end, the melody from Informer is a good melody, and Daddy Yankee co-ops it very well. So I've been listening to this song a lot. It's probably one of my most listened to songs of the summer so far. So yeah.
I have not heard the version without Katy Perry. I heard the version with Katy Perry in a Mexican restaurant, actually.
Wow.
Which felt a little weird, and I was like, oh, so this is the song where Katy Perry tries to speak Spanish. Outside of Hola, me llamo Katy, she's honestly pretty good.
It's got that super catchy beat that you hear in a lot of Latin music, you know, that bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, right? And I remember hearing that a lot, like, in really, like, pop music, like, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and then it kind of disappeared for a while, and now I'm hearing it again in some other songs that have just recently come out, and I kind of like it, because I don't know, I've always thought that beat was just really catchy.
That is a scorching take.
I like it. I've heard a lot of people say it's really obnoxious, but I don't know, maybe it's like a guilty pleasure, but...
I mean, we all have those.
For me, it really depends on the song and, like, the rest of the instrumentation around it, as well as the tempo. Like...
Agreed.
There's one song I'm thinking of right now, Safari by J Balvin, from, like, a few years back, that is a really slow tempo, and the rest of the instrumental just sounds kind of creepy and unsettling, and mixed with that reggaeton beat, it's just a big pile of no.
Oh... If we're going to be talking about Latin music and big piles of no, do we want to talk about Tay Bote, Annie?
Not really. That's old news.
Yeah, thank goodness. How in the world did that end up on the year end? Like, I've never heard it outside of the context of either Mark or Rodrigo complaining about it. Anyway, yeah, Con Calma's good. It's catchy. It's fun. Daddy Yankee's great as always. Snow sounds good, and Katy Perry is... at the very least, an interesting contrast.
You should really hear the version without her, though. It's a lot better.
I probably should. I wrote that it's better than Despacito.
I am okay with that opinion.
Moving on to a song I have much less feelings about, The London, by Young Thug, J. Cole, and Travis Scott. Fun fact, I reviewed this song, and I had to re-listen to it today to remember what it sounds like.
I listened to it today, and I don't remember what it sounds like.
Same!
I listened to it today, and I don't remember what it sounds like.
I mean, even the video is boring. Like, the official video is just green. I mean, it's like it was so lackluster that they couldn't even come up with something more interesting for it.
Wow.
They maybe haven't shot a music video for it yet. Travis Scott sounds bored. The beat's generic. J. Cole sounds like ass. Young Thug manages to sound... Oh, I do remember one thing about it. Young Thug rhymes semen with cement. A rhyme
does he say cement?
Yes, he does. That is a rhyme I thought of when I was 13.
Yikes.
That's
about as old.
all I can...
It's about the oldest age that would enjoy a rhyme like that too. So
yeah,
or any rhyme involving the word semen, actually.
Well, no, there was when will.i.am said. Hang on, let me find that line. Y'all can talk until I find the line I'm thinking.
No, I know what line you're thinking of. It's in I'm a Bee, where he's like, "I'd be like a bank loaning out semen."
Yes, but he rhymes it with like Lehman.
Yeah, like the Lehman Brothers. I think
he compares his dick to a sperm bank.
Well, I mean, that's a flex if I've ever heard one.
More of a flex than you're gonna get with The London, which is just a really boring song. And honestly, I didn't even notice J. Cole on the song. Like, the song ended, and I'm like, wait, where was J. Cole? Like,
oh, he had a whole verse.
I must have just thought he sounded a lot like Travis. Like, did he like go for the singing auto-tune type thing, or?
Sorta. He had auto tune, but it wasn't the Travis Scott auto tune that he does. J. Cole just was kind of half awake, as he always is.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't terribly. He's not super memorable. I didn't think he sounded good, but Young Thug very quickly lowers that bar even further.
Not surprising.
Before we get to a couple of very contentious songs, "Rumor" by Lee Brice at number 25.
I'm kind of wondering what this one's doing up here, because it's 2 years old for one, and it's not that interesting. Like I'm just kind of wondering how it ended up, on the chart 2 years after it came out.
It's probably a late single in an album cycle. I also thought it was boring as dirt.
I mean, I liked it better than, like, a little bit better than most country songs, just because mainly just because the lyrics weren't horribly obnoxious. They had some of those country cliches in them, but it wasn't like some of those songs where they just kind of sprinkle them in like seasoning. Like they just mention beer whenever they haven't mentioned beer for long enough, and then they mention like tight jeans whenever they haven't mentioned tight jeans for too long. But this song didn't really have that I can think of. It was just kind of like a story, I think.
Yeah.
And so I mean it that puts it above country songs, or most country songs for me. But musically wasn't very interesting.
That's valid. You got anything to add, Matt?
I honestly think this is the worst country song in the top 40. I could not stand the dude's voice at all.
Yeah, he sounded pitch corrected to me. Like, I thought I caught just the tiniest whiff of auto-tune whenever he would extend a note, but maybe that's just me.
I was too distracted by his awful timbre to notice.
That's fair.
I don't remember much about the quality of his voice. Let me go review
Well, it's
that.
also country. I mean, what are
Right.
you really expecting out of that? Unless it's Casey Musgraves, why even bother? By the way, is Rainbow still charting?
I don't think so. I think that was a
Dang it.
short-lived thing.
Dadgummit. I heard it on at the eye doctor, and I was not prepared.
Aw.
Like, that'll just kick you right in the teeth.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean with the. It does sound in some places like it might be a little bit pitch corrected.
Yeah. Which is not good for a genre that tries to pride itself on being authentic and rootsy and all of that. Like, if it wasn't in a genre that had the pretensions of being more organic, I wouldn't be bothered by it. Moving on to a song that is very not organic. Hey Look Ma, I Made It by Panic at the Disco.
So true.
So, before we get into it, Dylan Francis produced this song.
Really?
I love Dylan Francis when he is making EDM. Not when he is making Latin music, and not when he's making pop music. However,
I actually wrote this down in my ambivalent list.
oh, okay.
I enjoyed the chorus.
Yeah.
The verses I thought were kind of boring.
Yeah, it's a little rich, talking about, getting screwed over by a record label and complaining about how awful the industry is, coming from the it band of the last year or so.
I was actually surprised to see. I did not know. I had heard High Hopes before, but I didn't know it was Panic at the Disco. So I had no idea that Panic at the Disco was like still a big deal.
They're bigger than ever.
I mean, yeah, I didn't even. I didn't know that they did any more than the 2000 stuff that they did, like with what was the really big one from a long time ago.
I write Sins,
Not Tragedies.
Yeah, that one. That's the era that, like, the last time I really even heard about Panic at the Disco. So very different music, though.
Yeah, they've evolved. By the way, shout out to Matt and I saying it at the exact same. Yeah, I don't hate it, actually. I expected to hate it because I'd only ever heard like a little bit of the chorus, and I was like, ew, horns, ew. But no, it's like
well, like I said, I'm a sucker for brass.
Yeah, yeah. Sonically, it's actually pretty good. Dylan Francis did a pretty good job. He has a cameo in the music video where he plays the producer, being a dude bro, which is the only good comedic thing that Dylan Francis is able to do. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's not as good as what is it? Hymn for the Wicked or whatever. Saturday Night. That one.
Oh, it's Saturday night.
Such a good song. Like, it's Brendan Urie using his vocal his ridiculous range for good and not evil. Also, the music video is him getting the crap beat out of him, which is nice. Just watching Brendan Urie get kicked in the nuts is a worthwhile use of your time.
It is, but I honestly have not been super fond of Panic at the Disco's material since like 2011 with Vices and Virtues. Like, they've had good songs here and there, and I don't think their 2013 album was bad by any stretch, but I could not stand Death of a Bachelor, and Pray for the Wicked was not that much better, in my opinion. So it kind of surprised me that this song grew on me a lot. Like, I am quite fond of this song, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, the chorus is really catchy, the horns are fun, but yet I still don't like High Hopes, which I know is the next song on the chart. But with Hey Look Ma I Made It, it's just, I guess it feels a lot more controlled production-wise. Like, the problems that I had with High Hopes are not nearly as much of a problem here. Mainly with the vocal multi-tracking. That's a big thing. And yeah, also the verses, whenever I like try to think of what they sound like, I keep thinking of New Romantics by Taylor Swift, so I don't know if they're like similar or if I'm just crazy. But yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of High Hopes, also by Panic at the Disco, number 23. I hate this song.
Well,
I hate it so much.
I probably wouldn't like the song, and I don't like the song. Let me just get that out of the way. But I hate it. I don't have a valuable opinion on it because this song was on the radio when I was working as a waiter, and it came on every single day. And so my opinion is colored by that, and so therefore I'm biased.
Well, all opinions are biased opinions, but
I'm extra biased by this one. Also, it was paired up with. They had a very strange playlist at the restaurant where I worked. It was paired up with lots of like really old pop from like the late 2000s and early 2010s, and it didn't age well. And so I now have that associated in my. And it kind of started to sound like that kind of music. It just ran together. So I have a really strong association with a whole bunch of that that kind of music. And so it's unbelievably grating to me.
Yeah, the production is so bad. I do not need to hear trap drums on a Panic at the Disco song. Oh, and the trumpets sound fake as hell. Like, that was... Whatever made that noise was never anything that resembled a brass instrument of any kind. You can just taste the MIDI in your mouth when you listen to it.
Pretty much, not to mention the horrible vocal layering. Dear God.
Yeah, that multi-tracking is not good.
As far as the like bad MIDI soundtrack or the bad MIDI sound too, there's really no excuse because there's a big budget for a Panic at the Disco album with how popular they are right now, and VSTs are not super expensive, and I could buy one of those, and it would sound pretty realistic. So I don't really know why you'd have such an unrealistic sound on such a big budget song.
Like, go back to Panic's earlier albums from the 2000s. They have real brass instruments on them. They could afford them then when they were a lot smaller. So what happened?
I don't know. Let me see how many views it has on YouTube. Maybe they're just cutting costs in the hope that, it'll become popular no matter what, and then they'll have an even bigger profit margin.
It was produced by Jake Sinclair, who is also known for producing for Weezer, which makes all the sense in the world. Fall Out Boy, 5 Seconds of Summer, Pink.
I mean, it's got 300 million views on YouTube, so maybe that was what they were doing.
Yeah.
But see, that makes no sense to me because High Hopes was kind of a fluke, at least in my mind, because
at first it was.
Panic hasn't had a hit that big since I Write Sins. Like, they haven't had a single song make a year-end Hot 100 since then, until this year where they'll now have probably 2 songs on there.
Yeah, they were always a thing. Like, I remember Victorious was kind of big, and Saturday Night was also kind of big. Like, I would hear it in grocery stores. But, yeah, High Hopes was the lightning in a bottle, we got something here song. And it does not deserve that at all. Moving on, Whiskey Glasses by Morgan Wallen.
Who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't like the guitar, which is weird for a country song. Otherwise, I didn't really have any thoughts about it at all.
One thing I will say, if this is the guy that I am thinking of, it might not be, because some of these country songs kind of run together to me.
Yeah.
One thing I don't like about... Okay, yeah, this is the guy I'm thinking of. One kind of just superficial thing I don't like about a lot of country singers is they're just... It seems really fake to me because they're completely indistinguishable from pop singers in terms of like their aesthetic and just their general, personality and everything. It just seems like they're playing country because that's what's big. Yeah, this guy is a redneck. There's no doubt in my mind that this guy is a straight up redneck. You don't have hair like that if you're not a redneck. So I do think that it's genuine at the very least.
He looks like if Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons had a baby with one or both members of Florida Georgia Line.
Who is that guy, Henry, that you mentioned to me? It was a while ago. He was a country singer who made some like really obnoxious song. I can't remember what it was.
Sam Hunt.
Yeah, I think that's who it was. That's kind of the epitome of what I mean when I'm talking about these country singers who just are completely indistinct. Because if you look at that guy and had to guess what genre of music he makes, you'd have no idea. He looks exactly like a pop singer.
Someone who does not have that problem, though, Blake Shelton, God's Country, number 21. This song is hilarious. Like, the composition is trying so hard to be, like, epic, talking about God's creation.
Yeah.
And his singing voice is so doofy, and I used to watch The Voice a lot. I know what Blake Shelton is like. Or rather, at least his on-camera persona. And he's, like, admittedly, The Voice is not known for having judges who have any business telling people how they should be singing. I really don't need to hear Adam Levine's thoughts on a vocalist, or Christina Aguilera, or especially Blake Shelton. But every now and then he'll pipe up and be like, you need to put more vibrato on that. Like, who are you, Blake? You 6'5", formerly mullet having, but
now,
I do think the hook for this is actually pretty good. Like, it's not a bad hook.
To be honest, Blake Shelton doesn't get on my nerves as much as like some other country singers, like Luke Bryan. Can't stand him. I was very surprised to see him on the charts. I hadn't heard his name in a long time. I thought I was done with him, but Blake Shelton doesn't bother me quite as much, and I don't know exactly why it is. It might be partially due to just some bias because I happen to know the guy that wrote some of his early number one hits. So that might be a part of it, but I don't know.
Damn.
He didn't write this one.
That's cool.
He didn't write this one, but yeah.
I just think it's so silly to call America God's country. Like, how...
That's true. I mean, what did you expect from country music, though?
That's true, but like, how dense do you have to be to actually believe that?
Oh, Matt, you gotta come to the South sometime, man.
I'm happy in my northwest corner, thank you very much.
I was surprised to see this song still here and still so high. Happier by Marshmello and Bastille, number 20. I like it, but I'm so tired of it.
Still love it, still not tired of it.
Really?
Yep.
I mean,
it sounded it was just kind of stale to me. Like, just not because of, I hadn't heard it until the other day, but just the sound in general that it has just seemed kind of stale to me.
That's valid. Marshmello isn't really a super popular producer. I actually like some of his stuff. This song's okay. I still mostly like it. I've heard some remixes that are better because the production fits the conceit of the lyrics, which are very, very sad in general. Like, it's a really nuanced and melancholic lyrical conceit that it's trying to convey, which does not mesh with Marshmello's trap music but happy aesthetic that he always goes for. There's some remixes that kind of pull out the actual mood of the song better, but in general I like Happier. Speaking of songs that I like, Seven Rings by Ariana Grande.
Ooh.
So here we might disagree a little bit.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I know that you're a big Ariana Grande fan, so I knew you were probably going to like it.
Yeah.
But I don't really get it. As far as, I mean, musically, it's just like some rap verses surrounded by like my favorite things from The Sound of Music, and so for one, I don't get why it's so high because it's just such a simple thing, and there's not really anything there for me. Is basically what I'm saying.
This song was number one for most of the year until Old Town Road happened.
Well, I'm surprised I hadn't heard it. I had not heard it before the other day.
Yeah, I like it. I think Ariana's charismatic enough to pull off bragging about how rich she is for 3 minutes.
Oh, that's the other thing. Lyrically, I'm really tired of the flexing songs. There are so many of them, and they're all just as boring to me.
Matt, do you have anything to add?
Do I have anything to add? Do you know me at all?
Well, I don't know. Do I?
I would go as far to say that Seven Rings is the worst song in the top 40.
Whoa, now!
As we were listening, or like listening through all of these songs, I gave them all scores from 0 to 5, like I do for my videos and stuff. And Seven Rings was the only song to get a 0. The only one.
Matthew, there is a Chris Brown song we're about to talk about.
Still not a 0. And
I don't even know what to say to that.
I really despise Seven Rings. I cannot stand that chorus. I cannot stand the interpolation. I cannot stand the tinniness of the beat. I cannot stand that friggin' third verse where she tries to brag about how big her ass is because it's not. I just... I can't with this song. I've never liked it. I hated it from the first minute I heard it. And it is still one of my least favorite hits of the year, and it will be very high on my worst list in December. There are other songs that I have hated from this year. They are just no longer in the top 40. Thank God.
Also, I feel like I didn't really like the song very much, and I know that I know that she had to shell out for the melody from Sound of Music, it didn't seem to go a very long way.
They get something like 70% of the profits from that song.
That makes sense because it's the whole. I mean, it's the only melodic content in the whole song.
Well, no, there is that do 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 do.
That's an accompaniment pattern.
Yeah, but it counts.
Although accompaniment patterns. I mean, I'm used to thinking of melody versus accompaniment in classical terms. It's a bit different in pop, where sometimes you'll have things that would be considered an accompaniment pattern that are actually like a hook or, the main sort of melodic content in a song. But I think of it as sort of just the accompaniment pattern for this song.
I still like it. I mean, it's far, far, far from my favorite Ariana Grande song, which is still The Light Is Coming, as long as we don't talk about the Nicki verse. Matt, did you see that mashup some guy did where it was Seven Rings mashed up with all of the songs that it samples and or rips off?
I did not, and I don't particularly care to.
No, like it mashes it up with Pretty Boy Swag by Soulja Boy, and then after the first verse it downshifts into Crank Dat, and it's perfect.
Wow.
Like, it is absolutely amazing.
Interesting.
The beat to Crank Dat fits very well with that accompaniment pattern. It's good stuff. And then it also uses the 2 Chainz song. And what was the female rapper who accused Ariana Grande of stealing from her? It wasn't Rico Nasty, was it?
I don't remember.
It was somebody like that. Not important. It used all of those. And of course, my favorite things. Pop Out by Polo G and Lil TJ at number 18.
It's not too bad. I mean, the beat's a little oddly muted, but that's kind of what you expect from like SoundCloud rap. You don't expect that to be in the top 20, but then again, it's 2019, so what the hey. I wasn't fond of Polo G, but I actually thought Lil TJ did a pretty good job. His voice I wasn't fond of, but his content surprised me in a positive way.
Was Lil TJ the one that said, "Both my hands can do the job"? Masturbate?
I think so.
I have a few questions. Who uses both hands when masturbating? Because wouldn't that just give you an Indian burn on your dick? Like, I assume that's where he got that idea from.
I cannot tell you how badly I want to censor that for when I put this on my channel.
Please don't. Please leave it in full. I mean, you edit what you want to. It's your channel, and also this is going to probably run pretty long. But that line opens up so many questions that I have for him.
That might be a more of a question for your own personal research.
No, I'm not going to. No. Yeah. Other than that, I don't have anything at all. It's forgettable. Do you have anything to add, Angus?
Like I've said a couple times before, I'm not much of a critic when it comes to rap music, so a lot of it can run together to me, except for like the very top ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. Actually, thinking about it right now, I don't really remember how it goes. So.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble recollecting other than that one line.
And it's pretty high for that, It's top 20.
Yeah, and it peaked at it debuted at number 11. This is only its second week on the chart. No, it's not. It's its 13th week on the chart. Oh my gosh. Never mind.
Well, then it's really high up there.
Wow.
for it not to be very memorable.
That thing had legs for some reason. Speaking of something that has legs, Sweet But Psycho, number 17. Ava Max. I still don't know what I think of this song, and it's been around for 27 weeks.
I thought it was kind of catchy, but not super interesting. Like, I don't think in 2 years, if this, I don't really know who Ava Max is either. I hadn't heard of her before this. I think in like 2 years, if that's the style of music that she makes exclusively, I think she's probably just going to kind of fade away. So there was nothing really about it.
She's basically discount Dua Lipa.
It's basic, but I'm basic, so I love it.
It's catchy enough, though, that I haven't listened to it since the first time I listened to it, and I can still remember how it goes, so it's got that going for it.
Yeah, I guess I like it. I'm not going to, die defending it or anything. One song I will defend, Without Me by Halsey, number 16.
See, this song, I've heard a whole bunch of Halsey songs just in passing, and they all sound very, very similar to me. This one doesn't really sound any different, and it has the same problem that I have with a lot of Halsey songs, and that when I was listening to it, I was just unbelievably bored. I mean, it was like, how long is it? Like, what, 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Felt like a whole hour.
Wow. Matt, do you want to say how you feel before I go into why I like it?
I've talked about it on a few other occasions. I just think that the Juice WRLD remix somehow makes it better, and yet no one's talking about that remix anymore since it came out like back in January. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Halsey kind of gave us something else to talk about in the meantime, which we will get to. I really, really, really like it. I like the melody. I like how sour it is. It fits the mood of the song. And the mood of the song is her lashing out at G-Eazy, one of the few famous people who I, at the time, liked less than Halsey. I think the instrumentation is good. Halsey is evidently at her best when she is righteously indignant. And, yeah, it works. It's not my favorite number one of the year. I'll take it over Seven Rings.
I'm happy you'll take it over Seven Rings. That's a victory in my book.
I do think it's better than Seven Rings. I did not enjoy that.
Yeah. I don't know why it is. I mean, I guess it's just that I hate G-Eazy so much, but I don't know why this is the, along with East Side, that brought me around on Halsey. Because I've hated Halsey since 2016. But this and East Side did it for me. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I was brought around a lot earlier because I really like Now or Never and Alone, and Bad at Love Ain't Bad either.
You're on your own there. I almost said you're alone there, but realized that'd be terrible. So, speaking of terrible, number 15, Me! By Taylor Swift and Panic at the Disco.
No, Henry, it's featuring Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco.
Brendan Urie is Panic at the Disco.
I don't know a single other member of Panic at the Disco.
It's the official credit. It's the official credit.
It's literally just him now. It's Brendan Urie and a bunch of studio musicians. And Dylan Francis, apparently. Okay, I don't hate Me! But I've heard it a precious few number of times, and I'm already sick of it. That takes something special. Mainly because of the bridge. Hey kids, spelling is fun. Brendan Urie, I think Todd in the Shadows said it best when he said that Brendan Urie had enormous gay best friend energy for most of the song. Like, there are very few people who have had less chemistry on a song than these two. Mainly because Taylor Swift is just a maelstrom of personality and ego, and Brendan Urie always going to try his very, very hard. He's saying, I don't. I've hated lead-off singles of Taylor Swift's a lot more. I think it's better than "Shake It Off."
I don't like Taylor Swift in general, but I actually liked this song.
Really?
Yeah, I liked. Well, one thing I particularly liked about it, like you said, was the chemistry between her and Brendan Urie. I didn't think that she utilized Brendan Urie to as much as she could have. Like the parts that he was singing were not really, they didn't really showcase his voice because he has a good voice.
He does.
But one thing I did like about the song itself was I like the contrast between the verses and the chorus. You know, in the verses you had a very minimalistic sort of arrangement. It was basically just drums, vocals, and then there was sort of a bass line. And I kind of like the way they did the bass line. And then it kind of blossomed in the chorus, and I liked that. I liked the backup sort of music in the chorus too. You had more brass, you know.
A recurring theme on this chart.
Apparently, that's all it takes to make me like a song.
Hey, we all have our we all have our catnip. I almost said kryptonite, but that's not it. No. Matt,
for me, it's horns and pop music, and I don't. In other contexts, I'm not. I don't have this love for horns. I don't mind them, but
yeah,
specifically when they're used in pop music and in that context to back up sort of vocalist.
Your compositions I've heard haven't been terribly horn centric.
I don't think I've written a single note for horns.
Yeah, I guess you could say that your music isn't very horny.
Boom.
You could say that.
Thank you, Matt. I said that specifically for your benefit. Matt, did you have anything to say about this one?
It's essentially just like harmless background fodder.
Yeah.
And for Taylor Swift, that's kind of a problem, because you would think that for a song so filled with two people with big personalities, you would get something more. And so I
will say one thing that might have influenced my opinion of this song was that the very last Taylor Swift song that I'd heard before this one was "Look What You Made Me Do," and that was a train wreck.
It was a train wreck, but here's the thing: I adore it. It is a beautiful train wreck. And
"Look What You Made Me Do" was on Matt's best list.
Really?
2017. Yes, it was.
I made my best list like 30 entries that year, and it was in the 20s. But yes.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? Was that the same list where you put an album on the best list specifically for me, or was that... No, that was your best released songs, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was best non-hits.
Yeah.
You're still welcome for that, by the way.
Yes. It's my proudest moment, getting you to like that album. Anywho, next up is a song not very near to my heart, but very dear to my heart. Truth Hurts by Lizzo.
I love it.
So... I first heard this song in the car with a friend of mine who wouldn't let me control the music, and I was a little salty about it. But I think we were going to see a movie, actually. Yeah, we were going to see Captain Marvel, and she put this on, and I loved it. And I got to hear it before it was huge. Thank you, Madeline, if you're listening.
She's not listening, let's be real.
I mean, she might. I'm probably going to put this... podcast on my Snapchat story, and she might see it there.
I also love this song. I listened to I basically listened to those top 40s in order, and it was so contrary to what I was expecting based on all the other songs that I'd heard so far. I found it unbelievably entertaining.
Yeah.
I love her delivery too. It's not too in your face, but it's so confident.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of her performing this at the BET Awards, and she's a fantastic performer. Like, it's just bitter enough.
I believe it. She has such personality, too.
You're still on her side, though. Like, it's a very angry song.
Right.
But it's so vivacious at the same time. The instrumental's great. It's not too long. Like, I was surprised at how short it was, and it didn't feel short.
Yeah, I give it 10 out of 10.
Absolutely, 100%. I like it better than her other big song, Juice. Not a huge fan of that one. Matt, did you have anything to add?
I guess I have to be contrary here and say that I am not very fond of this song.
Well, you must hate women, then.
Yeah, it's
Oof.
clear to me that it's sexism that is
Yep.
influencing that.
100%.
That's the only way.
Yikes. I really, there's, I guess, two big problems above anything else for me why I don't like this song. The first problem is the production, which this song was produced by Ricky Reed, and if that's not a name you know, then good, because Ricky Reed is known for making these really cheesy pop productions, sometimes with piano. He produced a lot of stuff for Drum on his album from a few years ago, if you know the song Broccoli.
Huh.
And-
That's the broccoli guy? Shoot.
No, he didn't produce Broccoli. He produced some other songs for
Oh,
Drum,
okay,
though.
never mind.
What he did produce, however, was both Talk Dirty and Wiggle by Jason Derulo, as well. Let's see. Other featuring credits of his include Fireball by Pitbull,
Good song.
Fairly Local by 21 Pilots. He actually produced about half of
Wow.
Blurry Face. And
That's a surprising overlap.
Bills by Lunch Money Lewis.
Wow.
Few more Lunch Money Lewis and Pitbull songs. Oh, he produced No by Megan Trainor. And Hand Clap by Fits and Tantrums.
There it is. There's the problem. I was wondering when you were going to get to the bad songs, and there they are.
There you go. He's been all over the place. Yet he also produced like a few songs on Kesha's Rainbow.
Which ones?
He produced heck, I just lost it. Learn to Let Go, Him, and a few non-singles.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what to tell you. I've never been fond of this guy as a producer. He can be quirky, and it does benefit some songs. In particular, I would highlight Get Ugly by Jason Derulo as a song where his production style works. But for this song, his piano is so
And Bills.
low and rumbly and downbeat that it really puts a sour stain on the song that does not mesh with Lizzo's more upbeat delivery at all to me. And the other reason why I don't like the song is the chorus. I don't like how the melody ends kind of abruptly and on some like sort of non-modal cues. And also the way the melody starts off, I just realized this as we were recording this. It reminds me a little bit of Black Beatles, that chorus. Like kind of start like
Yeah!
with every single line starting on the tonic of the minor key and then going down.
It does. I'd never noticed that. I mean, I like both songs, so I don't know what to tell you. It does make a lot of sense that it was produced by who it was produced by. I will say this song is a very stark contrast to No, despite being about almost the same thing. I will take Lizzo's Men Suck anthem over Meghan Trainor's Men Suck anthem any day of the week.
Oh, same.
Oh, this is a tangent, and you can cut this out if you want. So that Songland show, Meghan Trainor was on it. Do you know what I'm talking about, Matt?
I've heard of it.
Basically, an artist comes in, or they have three producers. The One Republic guy is one of them.
Ryan Tedder.
Right, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, it's Ryan Tedder, some R&B person who did stuff for Nicki and Rihanna a decade ago, and the country guy who helped produce Rainbow by Casey Musgraves. It's those three people, and then there's one artist that comes in every week, and people will pitch their songs to that artist. They'll pick three. Those three will each get one of those three producers, and they'll tweak the song to where it works for that artist, and they'll perform it again, and the artist will pick one song. They somehow managed to get the Jonas Brothers on it. I assume it was recorded before Sucker blew up. The one really cool episode was one with will.i.am, where he wound up picking all three songs, because will.i.am is apparently a very magnanimous person. He seemed like a genuinely nice person in the episode. Future episodes are going to include Charlie Puth and Macklemore, and I'm very excited for both for very, very different. But there was a Meghan Trainor episode, and she is just as insufferable as she's always been. Like, she has that 14-year-old white girl quality of, I don't remember if she said occur, but she might as well have.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she is still married to the Spy Kids guy. Anyway, that was that was a rabbit hole. Anyway, yeah, Truth Hurts is great.
Well, I'm glad you guys can find appreciation in the song, even though I can't.
I'm actually kind of curious what y'all think about this next one. If I Can't Have You by Shawn Mendes, number 13.
It's a Shawn Mendes song. Actually, I wrote this down in my notes. It was on my least faves list.
Ooh.
Really?
I wrote sounds like a One Direction song from 2011. I don't remember what it sounds like, but that's what I thought when I heard it.
Okay, two things. One, 2011 One Direction wasn't that bad. Two,
Agreed.
If I Can't Have You, to me, is basically just a retread of Shawn Mendes' hit from 2 years ago, There's Nothing Holding Me Back. Which,
Absolutely.
that song was
And
good.
it's better.
This song, I think this song is slightly worse, but it's not bad. I just wish that Shawn would be a bit more creative with his singles. Like, he has been at times, but like sometimes
Lost
when
in
something...
Japan is still great.
Indeed.
Well, I didn't hate it like with a passion, but the thing about it is, lyrically, he's not going outside of the box in any way, shape, or form.
True.
It's exactly the same sort of lyrical content as every single other song he's ever put out, and like musically, it's not like it doesn't hurt to listen to him, and that's honestly like probably the best thing I could say about Shawn Mendes is that it doesn't hurt to listen to him,
With some exceptions.
and it just doesn't interest me. That's the thing about Shawn Mendes in general, really, is that I've never heard a song by him that was remotely interesting.
I really love his new song, but you would probably say that it's also not very interesting.
Oh, Senorita?
Yeah.
Still haven't heard it.
I think I listened to
It
that.
debuted at number 2 today.
Oh, hey, I hadn't seen the new chart update.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it hasn't knocked off Old Town Road. Old Town Road is still sitting on top next week.
That was honestly my
Anyway.
prediction, was that Senorita would debut at 2 this week, and then next week it'll take the top. That's my prediction.
Maybe so. Oh, hey, I'm not the only one with dogs.
Oh, could you hear that?
Yep.
That was not even close to me.
Sounded like a big dog.
Oh, it's a big dog.
I have 3. I'm actually surprised they haven't been louder.
I'm
Anyway.
grateful.
Number 12, Dancing with a Stranger by Sam Smith and Normani. Probably my favorite song on the top 40.
Wow.
Yeah, I like it all right. This was another one that I think I remember from how old? No, it couldn't have been. Never mind. I like
No.
it.
Yeah, well, Sam Smith's songs start to blur together after a while. This one's just like it's a really good duet. The beat is fantastic. Sam Smith is at his best when he's singing over really low-key club-type stuff. Like, he had a song with Calvin Harris last year that was really, really good that charted maybe a week, I think, possibly, maybe. Yeah, this is fantastic. The hook is great. Normani sounds great. It'll probably make my best list, honestly.
I just wish I liked it more. I've talked about it in a video before. The only thing I forgot to say there that I wanted to say is that the structure of this song kind of throws me off because both the verses and the chorus to me sound like pre-choruses. So I feel like I'm just listening to a bunch of pre-choruses for 3 minutes.
That's fair.
Don't remember how the verses go, actually.
Neither do I, now that I'm thinking about it.
I don't wanna be alone tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That does sound like a pre-chorus, you're right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Still
But
good,
I
though.
didn't even remember the verses because the chorus is just so catchy that
Yeah. Look what you made me do.
Oh, okay,
like all
Henry.
I've had a falsetto for exactly 1 year now, so
Congrats.
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
You hit the C5 pretty alright, so good job.
Yeah. Number 11, Sunflower, subtitle, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse by Post Malone and Sway Lee. Great song, but it needs to go away. It's had its run. It's great. I like both parts of it. We need new blood.
I
in
am
the top
impressed
20.
though. I mean, it's been on the chart for 35 weeks, and it's not quite in the top 10. It's almost in the top 10 though, after 35 weeks.
Yeah, it's good, but its time has come. I agree.
Yeah. Maybe it'll pull a Girls Like You and just never leave. Deserves it more than Girls Like You, at least.
That's true.
Speaking of songs not getting what they deserve, number 10, No Guidance by Chris Brown featuring Drake.
There are a lot of names in the top 10 that I was kind of surprised to see. I didn't know that Chris Brown was still a thing.
Oh,
Um,
this is the biggest song he's had in the long time. The Drake. Yeah, Chris Brown can fuck off anytime he wants.
yeah, I don't understand how he's still famous, to be honest.
His fans are fanatically loyal.
Yeah,
I mean, they have to be.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at like when I watched the music video for this, I looked in the comments and it's like they just kind of, all the people just kind of, really. I didn't see any negative comments, and it seems like everyone just kind of ignores everything about Chris Brown.
Yeah,
they just kind of just don't pay attention to it.
they're like Trump supporters.
Which actually,
that way.
I'm okay with in art. If the art is really good, it wouldn't really matter to me if somebody was like a massive douchebag, but it's not that good.
The thing for me is that Chris Brown is like hardly even on the song, and he's easily the worst part of it. But Drake mostly carries it, and he's competent at the very least. I think so. And
I'm wondering why Drake did it. He doesn't need this.
yeah, that's the one annoying part about this song is like, why would Drake choose to prop up Chris Brown like that? Because Drake is way bigger than Chris at this point.
Oh, he's way bigger.
He's massive.
I mean,
And
yeah.
his second verse just goes on forever. It's like, what, a minute and some change long?
Yeah.
He just keeps going and going and going, and it's not interesting. I will say, though, this song has some fantastic cover art. Like,
Oh yeah,
that is
yeah,
really
absolutely.
pleasant to look at. Like the purple and just whoever's getting paid to do that better be paid.
That's the best thing about the song. I mean,
yeah, honestly.
I enjoyed looking at the picture while I listened to the song.
Yeah. And I mean, really, what more could you want from a Chris Brown song?
Yeah.
I will at least say that the percussion like randomly changes about halfway through the song, and I actually think it gets better when that happens. So like when the outro played with just the synth work and the percussion going at that point, I was like, this is pleasant.
Yeah. It's not as awful as I expected it to be, but still, there is absolutely no reason that we should have a Chris Brown song. And by the way, it went up to number 9 today in 2019. R&B is not the reanimated zombie that it was 10 years ago. We have Khalid. We have LMI. We have Lizzo, if she counts. I don't know.
I don't know what Lizzo is.
Lizzo's just fantastic. That's what she is. That's what she is. That is her genre. Her genre, good. We have freaking Ty Dolla $ign. I don't even like him, but he exists. We have no need for Chris Brown. Like, Chris Brown is obsolete for the same reason that Nicki Minaj is obsolete. They serve no function. Anyway, number 9, Suge by DaBaby. I thought the beat was interesting. I like really garish sub bass sometimes.
Nah.
I'm not a big fan of really garish sub bass.
That's fair.
And that was kind of what, yeah.
I guess I can't argue with that. Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts about this song otherwise.
I'm not particularly thrilled that he named a song after Suge Knight, because Suge was like, there's a lot of controversy around him, and I think he's in prison right now even, so it's like the song doesn't really knock him from what I could gather, but it does kind of show like the garish style of like being a manager and stuff like that, and I do think it's well written for the most part, and DaBaby is actually a pretty competent performer, which really surprised me. Like, I'm so used to Lil Baby calling himself Baby and having that really whiny Young Thug like voice, but DaBaby honestly sounds like he could mess you up. He's got a killer voice.
He's threatening enough. Yeah,
indeed. I just think that there's a little bit too much reverb on his voice that kind of contrasts with the more minimalist beat. It was a similar problem that I had to Stir Fry by Migos back when that was a thing. Just too much reverb on the vocals compared to the more sparseness of the beat.
Moving on. Number 8, Wow, Period, by Post Malone. I love this song.
Let me see. I think I put it on my ambivalent list, and that's just because I loved, what was the other Post Malone song? Sunflower, yeah. Love Sunflower. But Post Malone in general, I'm kind of ambivalent about. I have never been able to tell what I should think about him. And I don't know what it is. I think part of it's just the aesthetic getting in the way. He's got this really
Yeah.
dirty aesthetic that
He does.
I can't get out of my mind when I'm listening to his music. This one I did not like as much as Sunflower. If I, when I can divorce it from, Post Malone himself, it just was a little boring compared to the other Post Malone song I had to listen to for this.
This was the song that this came out before Sunflower, didn't it?
I think so. Actually,
Okay.
now I need to check.
This was the song that brought me around.
It looks like it came out after, based on how long it's been on the chart.
Oh, maybe not then.
It came out after. Oh, yeah, by like 2 months.
Oh, never mind. My bad. Actually, I didn't hear Sunflower for a while. I don't think it was saw the movie. So still, though, this was the song that brought me around on Post Malone. Like, for Rockstar and Psycho and all that, I was kind of neutral on him. But, I don't know. I like it. The beat, I like how borderline atonal the beat is, that really weird synth line. And lyrically, it's fun. Your grandmama probably know me as the hard flex I've heard in a long, long time. And it's true. My grandmother, well, okay. My dad's mom definitely hasn't heard of Post Malone, but she hasn't heard of anybody post, 1955. I mean, she might be aware of who the Beatles are. Maybe. And my mom's mom, probably not. I was surprised when I found out that she knew who 50 Cent was, though. So, again, but the average grandmother, the average female baby boomer, has probably heard of Post Malone. And that's relatively impressive. Like, they probably don't know who Drake is. But Post Malone, with that aesthetic that you mentioned, is a little more of a household name. And it's fun. That first music video was pretty fun, in my opinion. It's a banger. It's not as good as Pure Water, which I was surprised I liked so much, but it's good.
I'm just kind of ready for it to go away.
Oh yeah, it's well overplayed, don't get me wrong. But I think it's my favorite Post Malone song, except maybe Sunflower. But Sunflower's appeal is Sway Lee, absolutely 100%. Moving on, the other NBA single that has nothing to do with NBA, Money in the Grave, and Rick Ross.
As far as Drake songs go, he's done better, he's done worse. I just don't really care.
I like it. It's got that Nice for What level energy. I mean, it's not as good as Nice for What, of course, but Drake's pretty solid. Rick Ross didn't embarrass himself and didn't accidentally admit to statutory rape, so, that's progress for him.
We don't talk about that song anymore.
Yeah, we don't. I'll take it. It'd be nice if it had something to do with the NBA final. It bumps.
I feel about as lukewarm on this one as I did about what was the other one? Omertas, I think.
Omerta.
I do think I like this one a little bit better. Can't place exactly what it is about it. It
Probably
feels
the beat.
Yeah, it could be the beat.
And next we have Sucker by Jonas Brothers. Before we talk about this song in detail, I would like to point out, everyone calls this song a Feel It Still ripoff. It is not a Feel It Still ripoff. It is a hand clap ripoff. Anyway, you were saying?
I was just going to say that Jonas Brothers were another name that I was surprised to find was still relevant. I did not know that they were still... I didn't even know they were still making music together. I knew that they had some solo hits that I heard about a couple years ago, but I had no idea that they were still charting as a band.
They reunited this year.
Well, that makes sense.
This song was their big comeback. I think it debuted at number 1.
It did.
Yeah,
I found myself liking it more than I would have expected from a Jonas Brothers song, because I still remember them as the Disney Channel band. But it is still a Jonas Brothers song.
Yeah, I mean, I like the guitar thing. I don't think any of their performances are bad. I don't care for this song, but it's fine.
It's better than Cool.
Oh, it's way better than Cool. Oh my goodness.
I was not surprised at
Cool makes me want to punch every single one of them. Sucker's fine though.
When I listened to Cool, the first thing I thought was that if you just changed the guitar tone a little bit and maybe had them sing it in a southern accent, it would be indistinguishable from a country song.
You're not wrong.
Thinking mainly with the verses, just the quote-unquote melody in the verses.
That kind of stomp clap thing it's got going on.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
I feel.
it felt like a filler song that you'd have like in between the songs that end up on the charts, but it somehow ended up on the charts.
What do you think, Matt, of Sucker or Cool?
I really have nothing to add.
Yeah, it's very it's the kind of song you'd hear play at the dentist office while you're waiting.
Yeah.
Very true.
It sounds like the kind of song that in a couple of years they will be playing at O'Charlie's on the radio.
Absolutely, 100%. And you know what other song will get played right next to it? I Don't Care by Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber at number 5.
Yeah, I don't really care about it.
Wow, what an inventive and original pun.
Well,
I haven't heard before.
You set a chorus pretty early in the...
Yeah, that's true, that's true. I didn't hate this as much as I expected to. I mean, it's not good, but it didn't make my stomach turn the way that Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber working together normally would. The beat is incredibly generic. Also, Justin Bieber talking about how he hasn't... maybe I'm a bad person, but I do not care. Remotely.
Talking about what?
Bieber, in his verse, talks about being crippled with anxiety. I don't care.
Well, he can pay for the best psychiatrist in the whole world. He'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, there are many celebrities whose mental health I do care about, and I'll even include Kanye in that. But Bieber can piss
I'm
off.
with you.
I don't care. Pun intended. Ed's part is okay. I actually really liked the bridge for some reason. Like, it had a nice rhythm and mood to it. But otherwise, I wish Cross Me was as successful as I Don't Care is. I would swap their places on the charts if I could.
We'll talk about that one later. Spoiler alert. But,
yeah.
For me, I'm not gonna fault Ed and Justin for trying to relate to their audiences, or if they genuinely do have struggles with anxiety or anything like that. I'm not gonna invalidate them. What I will say is that this song is just so boring. And is it just me, or did they just not put a kick drum in this song? Like, there's just no kick.
There isn't a kick in Shape of You either, I don't think.
I think Ed Sheeran did pretty well in the era of, like, remember that kind of, like, there was this, like, folk pop renaissance a few years ago, and I feel like that was his sort of niche where he did well, and now the folk pop renaissance has long been dead, and I feel like now he just doesn't know what the hell he's supposed to be, because that was what he started with what was the first one, the A-Team. Yeah, and I think that was around the same time, which would make sense. And now it's just kind of like he's just kind of this generic sort of pop figure now.
Yeah,
that's not entirely true. We have to remember that Castle on the Hill does exist. You have heard Castle on the Hill, right?
I don't think I remember that one.
Oh, it's so good. It's the song that plays in the How to Train Your Dragon 3 trailer.
I don't think I've seen that.
Never mind. It's a very Springsteen-esque kind of proto-U2 type song, talking about his childhood memories and how his friends grew up and what their childhood was like. It's a very nostalgia-heavy song, but it's really, really good. The writing is fantastic. It's soaring. The chorus is great. It's Ed Sheeran doing what he's good at and doing at the best he can do.
Well, I'll have to give it a listen, because I do like some of Ed Sheeran's early hits. Some of them, not all of them.
I just can't really say I've been fully on board with Ed Sheeran, no matter what era or what style.
Oh, he gets under my skin as much as anybody, but Castle on the Hill is fantastic.
It's good.
Up next, a song that I managed to hear on the radio yesterday for the first time. Talk by Khalid and Disclosure.
Really? I've heard this song everywhere on the radio. Like, since I've been home, I've heard it so much. And it honestly kind of bugs me, because I want to like this song a lot more than I do. Khalid's falsetto gets worse to me with every listen, especially when he sings the word lend in the chorus. Like, lend me your thoughts. Like, he kind of like curves it a little, and it drives me insane with the multi-tracking. Beat's fine though.
Yeah, the radio here is much more concerned with Love Lies, which I know you love, and also Better. So I don't know why they haven't... I mean, it's starting to pick up Talk, but Love Lies gets a lot more real estate still.
This one was actually one of my favorites
Oh,
on this chart. I think part of it was the beat and the mix of it all I really liked. And also, this was the first Khalid song I had ever heard. So,
Not a bad way to be introduced to him.
yeah.
music video is stunning, too.
The music video is very good. I'm not a fan of the song, mainly because of the production. I've never been a huge Disclosure fan, except Latch, which is undeniably great. But I don't know, I don't think Khalid works over this kind of almost Aminé-esque beat. Like, he does better with more low-key, not necessarily slow jams, but like a more muted kind of aesthetic. I mean, I don't hate this song by any stretch. It's just it's not what I want from Khalid, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. Speaking of artists doing things that you would rather they not do, number 3, Bad Guy by Billie Eilish.
This song is slowly wearing me down. Like, I was real against it when I listened to the album, but it's so catchy. It's so... I hate to say this word, but it's so fun.
I love it. I'll be honest.
I can't... By the time she turns 18, and I can enjoy this song in good conscience.
That was, yeah, I will say, I mean, I actually really like the song, but it did make me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. One thing that I do absolutely love about the song, that I loved from moment one, was Billie Eilish spent about 2 years cultivating a fan base among the I hate popular music, it's so vapid and meaningless, and it's sex crowd. And so what does she do for her debut album? Have the first song be about all the kinky sex that she enjoys having. Like,
well, when I first heard the song...
That's a pretty good troll.
Yeah. When I first heard the song and, like, you know, got the sense of what the lyrics were about, I was a little turned off by it because it's not typically what she's singing about.
Yeah.
But I did think that, you know, for this sort of genre of lyrical topics, she did a better job than most people. I mean, I thought that the lyrics in some places were pretty clever.
Yeah. And the second verse is hilarious. Yeah. Absolutely.
True.
The beat's great. I mean, of course it is.
Yeah, I adore the song. I would say it might be one of her best, and I especially love the outro, which is very controversial, but I stand by it being an amazing moment.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that.
She kind of drops all irony in as like, yes, I am in fact actually into this, and I will try to sound threatening. I watched a video of her performing this on Kimmel, and she left the outro in, and it was at like that moment that I realized, oh, okay, she has actual like 100% genuine charisma that she can sell this kind of thing. Because normally everything she does a layer cake of irony, but I do actually really like the trap breakdown. It works for the mood of the song. It's jarring, but it's intentionally jarring. I had something else I was going to comment on. I forgot. It was something that Matt said that I was going to jump off of besides the outro. Oh, I will disagree, though. It is absolutely not one of her best songs. It's not... I mean, I'm glad this is the single that took off and not Wish You Were Gay, which I like less every time I hear it. And 8. 8 is terrible. But, like, I'd much rather My Strange Addiction, the other sex song on the album, be the hit. Or...
That's fair.
I Love You, or Ilo Milo. Ilo Milo would be a fantastic next single, and I hope that's what she picks when Bad Guy leaves the chart in like 2 months. And I will say, there is something to, if not for a certain once-in-a-generation moment happening, it is nice to think that we would have had a Billie Eilish song in about a month, if not for He Who Shall Later Be Named.
Yeah, she was kept off number 1, like a lot of people were. But
yes,
she she's young in her career, and if she's not just a passing fad, which time will tell, she'll have opportunities.
She absolutely
to hit.
is not.
She'll have opportunities to hit number 1 again. So we'll just have to stay tuned for that. And as for her next single, honestly, I'll be happy no matter what she picks from her album, as long as it's not All the Good Girls Go to Hell.
All the Good Girls Go to Hell is a good song, Matt.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
As far as Billie Eilish is concerned, you know that she gets a lot of like Lorde comparisons.
Yeah.
I actually think that she's a little bit more interesting than Lorde was starting out. I do hope that she
That's fair.
doesn't like completely drop off the map like Lorde. Like I mean, Lorde, she did have that second album and it was good. I enjoyed it, but I haven't heard anyone talk about Lorde for a long time.
Except
True.
me.
Except you.
Although I did see Lorde did announce like a month ago that she does have a third album. She's not going to take forever this time. And I do like that after half a decade of waiting, we finally have a really, really good Lorde imitator who isn't complete trash. Like we had Daya. Remember, Matt?
I'd rather not remember Daya, thank you very much.
Yeah, me either. Although her song with Jaws is irritatingly fantastic. We had Alessia Cara, who, I'm going to be honest, I don't like her new stuff. It's very boring to me, and apparently the American public agrees. We had Halsey, who sucked until about 6 months ago. We had...
Redacted.
We do not talk about her on this channel.
No, sir, we do not.
You're gonna get redacted for saying that. I hope you know that.
Okay. Up next, we have the most contentious song in the top 40, You Need to Calm Down by Taylor Swift. Who wants to start?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I don't really. I don't have as many thoughts about this one as many positive thoughts about this one as I did about the other one. So why don't you start, Henry?
Okay. Now, in saying this, I'm just going to be quoting Todd in the Shadows' video on it a lot. I had already made up my mind well before the video came out. This song is either one of two things. It is either Taylor Swift coming out, which would be incredibly ineffective and no. And she has also very bluntly said that that is not what this is. Or it's a really, really, really poor taste attempt to glom onto LGBTQ issues now that it's the popular thing to do. Like, to me, there is functionally no difference between the second verse of this song and corporations changing their brand to have a rainbow on and making all these...
that bugs the hell out of me. But that's not really the subject of the topic at hand. But
yeah,
I need to bring up the lyrics to.
Yeah, like, this is not Lady Gaga, and it irritates me that some people pretend like it is. It's easy for her to make this statement now and not 10 years ago. I mean, obviously she wouldn't 10 years ago. She was a country artist. She had made that statement. She would have actually been murdered. Also, most of the song is not about the hatred that LGBTQ people face. It's mostly about the shit that she has to deal with, which is comparatively tiny because she is one of the wealthiest people on Earth, one of the most beloved people on Earth. Yes, she gets criticism from people like me, but I mean, she's never had to worry about being burned alive or tossed off of a building by ISIS, and she never will. It's another song about Taylor Swift and how much she doesn't like the criticism she receives, but with just a little bit of gay wallpaper.
That Glad name drop is really heavy-handed.
Yeah,
just
there was
a
that
shitty
too.
pun.
and one defense I saw was that it is good that someone of Taylor's platform, because her platform is gigantic, is speaking out. And
well, it would have been about
stage.
10 years ago.
It would have 10 years ago.
At this point, it's just her jumping on the bandwagon.
Yes. I will say the stuff that she's done off stage to promote these issues is good and noble, and I wouldn't take that away from her. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a song with a beat that sounds very irritatingly like Paper Planes, to me anyway. I've also seen Royals comparisons, which I do kind of hear in the beat. And I mean, Taylor Swift has done a halfway decent Lorde impression ever since Blank Space. I don't really have a problem with the music video, and that's not really my battle to fight. I just think that it's very, very cheap.
I mean, at this point, anybody who makes a song about like LGBTQ who isn't like actually in the LGBTQ community, it just seems like they're like getting on getting on the hype train, because that's kind of, I mean, most people agree with the song. Most people who would listen to it, it's not like it's going to change anyone's mind.
Yeah, I don't see Westboro Baptist putting in that next Taylor Swift album.
It's just, I mean,
and
basically,
having their minds changed.
At this point, everybody who makes a song about like LGBTQ acceptance, it's just basically virtue signaling. But like I said, 10, 15 years ago, that might not have been the same. Yeah. And she was active. I mean, she was famous. What? That was about when she had her first sort of phase, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago.
She could have done it then.
Well, she couldn't because she was country.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. I'm not going to fault her. I mean, if she had done it, circa 2013, 2014, when she started to go pop, that would have blown minds and been very, very talked about.
I don't know. At that point, well, maybe then. I think at that point it was still getting a little late.
Yeah. Once the White House lit up, that was the deadline.
I mean, at this point, people who disagree with it, who disagree with, gay marriage and stuff like that, are in the minority.
Yeah.
So
I mean, well, not in some parts of the country, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm talking overall. So there's nothing revolutionary what she's doing.
I will say sonically, it's actually not that bad. I like the little how the vocals stack on the chorus. I think that's a neat, creative choice, and the beat's okay. If it wasn't what it's about, it'd be an okay Taylor Swift song. It's not delicate sonically. Delicate is probably still her best song, but sonically, I prefer it over Endgame or Ready for It. Matt, do you have any thoughts? You've been very quiet.
Yeah, I just don't really know what to say that hasn't already been said. I don't really feel qualified to say a lot about it, especially since I enjoyed the song when I first heard it, and there's a lot of red tape to cut through now, and Ton the Shadows did a pretty good job dissecting what was wrong with it, I guess.
Not to, burn you at the stake, but why did you like it?
Well, I mean, I do think the production is pleasant, like you said. Yeah. And, oh gosh, I'm gonna get crucified for this, but I actually think the line, 'cause Shade never made anybody less gay, is a really good line. Like, it's
a really good line until you think about it for more than 5 seconds.
Exactly, and I don't want to think about it for more than 5 seconds.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I remember I used to kind of rip on Taylor Swift for having kind of vapid lyrics, and now I'm kind of wishing they were a little more vapid, so that I would enjoy the song more if the song were about nothing.
Yeah. Fair enough. It's just not a song that I want to spend a lot of time on because it's just not really my area of expertise.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to stick around very long. It'll leave the top 10. Well, actually, I don't know what happened to it. Let me check on Twitter. Oh, hey, that Martin Garrix, Macklemore, and Patrick Stump song charted. Can't wait.
Yeah, I actually listened to that the other day when I was mistakenly listening to the pop charts.
Oh, what did you think of it? Please tell me.
Well, actually, Macklemore was another one that I was like, really? Is he still?
Well, see, now he's whoring himself out to anybody who will work with him.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's one of the worst things Patrick Stump's ever done, and I like Martin Garrix. You Need to Calm Down appears to be gone from the top 10.
Yep.
As I was about... Yeah, it's down to number 13, so it'll be gone soon. Replaced by whatever her next single is. Taylor Swift's next single, Racism is Bad.
Yeah.
Scorching hot take from Taylor Swift. Police brutality is a problem.
Don't kill people. Just everything everyone already agreed.
Yeah. Featuring Macklemore and let's see, who would be perfect for a song about race? Oh, Logic.
Oh,
Taylor Swift featuring Macklemore and Logic, the whitest song to ever exist.
Actually, Macklemore is really good at that. That's kind of his wheelhouse.
Well, yeah, that's why he'd be on the song.
Right.
Of course, Macklemore is also really good at embarrassing himself, so you never know. I think we've talked about this one enough.
Yeah.
And finally, the song of a generation.
Moment we've all been waiting for.
One of the biggest songs of the decade.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road.
I think he killed his microphone.
He killed his microphone. Hey Matt, your mic cut out.
I saw it cut out. Like I saw on my feed it cut out right at Road. Although, since I'm recording my own microphone not off of Discord, I'm wondering if it still picked that up in the actual recording.
Oh, I really hope it did.
Yep.
Got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matted black. Got the suit that's black to match. Riding on a horse. Huh. The huh is the best moment in the entire song. I
True.
swear.
Great song.
Besides bull riding and boobies, of course.
I love Old Town Road like everybody else. I'm a little ambivalent because I am not sure if I would love it as much as I do if not for the hilarious context surrounding it.
Yeah.
But I root for it so hard. I love how long it's been at number one.
Yeah. It's been there since early April. It is going on 2 months.
It's been around for
at
16
number one.
weeks, and 12 of those 16 weeks it's been at number one, and I love it.
It's beautiful. It's the best thing Billy Ray Cyrus has ever done.
And that is the third name that I did not expect to see in the top 10.
Yeah. Lil Nas X actually came out last week. I mean, people who'd known him prior to Old Town Road knew that he was gay, but he came out, I think it was yesterday.
Prior to Old Town Road, though.
He was a very, very prolific Nicki Minaj stan on Twitter, to the degree that I think I may have argued with him at
Wow.
and then the first song he makes gets big on TikTok, it charts, and then controversy propels it up to number one. Billy Ray Cyrus holds it at number one. The video holds it at number one. The combined powers.
Oh, and speaking of TikTok, I saw not one, but two separate music videos on this top 40 that had TikTok in the music video. I don't understand it.
That is strange.
Are they doing some really aggressive product placement in pop songs or something?
Yes.
I guess.
I guess that must be it, but yeah.
The combined power of Taylor Swift, the combined power of Justin Bieber and Ed Sheeran could not beat it. The combined power of Taylor Swift and Panic at the Disco could not beat it.
I mean, it's a true underdog story.
The combined power of Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello could not beat it.
It will beat it.
No, it won't. I'm going to go ahead and say you're wrong. But you know what will beat it? The combined power of Ed Sheeran, Bruno Mars, and Chris Stapleton next week.
No, not a chance.
That will be what tops it.
I think it's going to stay up.
Ed Sheeran and Bruno Mars, y'all.
I mean, that's a pretty strong combo, but I mean, look at all the people below him right now.
And then when you add the country market to
You've got an Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber song that's below him.
Yes, but consider this. It sucks. Most people don't actually like it. If that Chris Stapleton, Bruno Mars, and Ed Sheeran song is any good, it will beat Old Town Road. Because you'll finally have
what I want to happen. I want it to be at number one just forever. It never goes down. People just continue to listen to it constantly for just forever. It's just accepted. That's the start of my Black Mirror episode. It's one song that's just it's on number one and it just never goes away and no one knows why.
I love it.
Nobody understood when it first got up there. Nobody knows why it's not gone.
This girl that I'm talking to, who I'm going to try and go on a date with before the end of the summer, absolutely hates Old Town Road, and I don't know why.
That's a red flag, dude.
I'll survive.
Does she like country?
Yes, she does.
Well, that's it. Like, diehard country fans, I feel like, are not going to like Old Town Road because it's like a tongue-in-cheek. It's like half parody, half real country song.
Yeah. It's a Luke Bryan song with a good beat.
Still a red flag.
And you know what Luke Bryan needs? A good beat. Well, also he needs to start writing songs with his...
And a verse from Billy Ray Cyrus, who all of a sudden is like...
Yeah.
Not too bad.
And he also needs to start writing songs with his pen and not his penis. So yeah, I, for one, welcome our new pop overlords of Lil Nas X and Billie Eilish.
I want them to just keep making songs together. Like, they're a group now.
Yeah. What if they collaborated with Billie Eilish?
Two Billies. One song.
Actually, no. What if there was another Old Town Road remix that instead of Billy Ray Cyrus, it was Billie Eilish?
Billie Eilish singing the the chorus.
Yeah, and getting her own verse, of course.
No.
Why not?
I would
Matt?
like to see it. I would like to see it.
Yes. I want to see.
I don't
Billie
know
Eilish
how it
do
would
country.
work.
I want country Billie Eilish. That's what we need.
You
I,
really
that's what's
don't.
missing.
Actually,
That's
Henry,
what's
you've
missing
sold
from the
me
world.
away from it. Now I'm not.
Oh, okay,
now I'm
never
less
mind.
sold on it.
No. All those baggy clothes and a giant cowboy hat.
Oh God.
Yes. So we
Belt
had
buckle.
some. Yes. Oh, they're always no. She still has the.
She's still wearing
38
like the sweatpants, but she's got a belt.
Yes. She's still got those 37 silver chains.
But now
Um,
they've got like they've got like a star on them. Like
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
like a sheriff's badge. Yes.
yeah,
I'm liking this more and more. Somebody call Phineas. He'll do it.
yeah. I'm gonna write a letter.
Certified. We got a certified banger on our. Speaking of certified bangers, we had about a half dozen songs that were not in the top 40 that we still wanted to talk about. Matt, you can start on that list anywhere you want to,
All right, I want to go in order from top to bottom.
which means first up is Nightmare by Hall. I think it's good. The lyrics are a little on the nose, but like I said before,
I liked it
Halsey
better
is-
than the other Halsey song. The whatever
Yeah.
it was.
She is at her
Without
best
Me.
when she is absolutely furious.
I mean, it was listenable. I didn't find myself wanting to click away.
Yeah.
like with but yeah.
Yeah, the lyrics are a little... They're a lot, but I can't argue with what they're trying to convey, and I actually really like the hook. I think it's a really, really solid hook.
It's a disgusting hook, but that's part of what makes it so good. Because
Yeah, kind of. Like, the distortion is not great, but it works with the mood of the song. Melodically, I think it's a good...
yeah, I'd say the song as a whole is decent.
Yeah. Refresh my memory. Are we doing When the Party's Over?
Yes.
I thought we
Okay.
were. Yeah.
All right, When the Party's Over.
That's
Yeah.
easily my favorite song in the Hot 100.
Wow.
Just because it's so great.
I'm not sure I disagree, honestly.
I am
Dancing
sure
with
I
a Stranger...
disagree, but
Dancing with a Stranger is pretty fantastic, but When the Party's Over is just so good. Like, it's weird to have a song that heart-wrenching on the radio.
And even just not only that, but in terms of production and the aesthetics of the song, it is so different from all of the
Yeah.
other songs that chart.
Yeah.
Because it's minimal even for Billie Eilish.
Yeah. Although it does have swells of bass in really good parts that'll absolutely rattle your windows if you have a good sound system. Angus, you know Jack...
No.
Okay, never mind. He's a guy who goes to my college. He looks like a blonde version. Bo
Jack?
Burnham.
Blonde Bo Burnham.
Blonde Bo Burnham.
Well, I've got to see him. Let's see if I can find him on Instagram.
You know him if for a theater project, he did a spoof of the When the Party's Over music video, but with milk. And then at the end it said "Got Milk," and it was hilarious. Like it was a Got Milk ad. So funny. Yeah, this song's great. I think it's a slightly less good version of "I Don't Want to Be You Anymore," but "I Don't Want to Be You Anymore" is one of her songs. So
I do
Yeah.
see the blonde Bo Burnham. I don't recognize him though.
yeah, he's very involved in theater and choir. He left choir, so you won't meet him.
Ah,
Up next, the real reason that we had this list, "Cross Me" by Ed Sheeran, featuring Chance the Rapper and PNB Rock.
I mean, Chance made it for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was already great. Like, I really like Ed Sheeran's verse. And then Chance just, I don't even know what he was doing, but it was great.
Yeah.
The beat's fantastic. The hook outside of the sample is really good. Now, Matt, I do think you have something that you want to say.
I mean, I don't hate the song. I do think that Ed singing over a beat this hip-hoppy is kind of weird.
It works, though.
I don't think it
I
works
agree
that
with
well.
that,
So
but
well.
like I said, Chance's verse made it for me.
I don't think it works that well. I don't even think Chance works very well over this beat either. I don't even remember what he sounds like on this song because I've only heard the song once, and it was like a month ago when it first came out. But
He
really,
raps.
my issue with this song is in the PNB Rock sample. A large part of it is the mixing of it, which
Yeah, the mixing's not good.
it sounds like Ed Sheeran called PNB Rock on the phone and was like, hey, can you do this feature? And he just rapped it right then and there, and he just recorded off the phone call and threw it in the song without doing anything else to it except throwing on reverb. Like, that's literally what it sounds like. And I know that it's sampled from a Double XL freestyle that PNB Rock did, but Ed Sheeran has, like, a huge budget. It couldn't have been that hard to bring in PNB Rock to re-record that part and make it better fidelity. So that kind of bugs me.
I have to slightly disagree. It doesn't sound like he called him. It sounds like a Skype call, not a phone call.
Tomato.
I will agree there. The mixing on the PNB Rock sample is not good. Everything else about the song is fantastic, though. And of course, your other issue is...
The way that when PNB Rock just says, that's my seed, like, I'm assuming it means he's talking about his daughter, which, you know, that's kind of a weird way to put it. And then, then you have Ed and Chance singing about their significant others, and there's just a little bit of a disconnect in subject matter. Like, I wouldn't go as far as Mark did in Billboard Breakdown, where he had said something like implying that the song could even be incestual. I'm pretty sure he was joking, but still.
I hope so.
I agree with that too, actually. Like, I mean, this didn't make my favorites list, but, you know, like I said, I love Chance the Rapper's verses on this, but I hadn't really thought about that, and that is kind of an issue that I'm now seeing with the song. Should have some consistency, because it is kind of a little weird.
The explanation that I've seen is PNB Rock could be talking about his pregnant girlfriend.
But that makes no sense.
Which is what I'm going to stick with.
But if he says the word seed, why would he be referring to his girlfriend as a seed?
Well, he doesn't say she's my seed, just that's my seed. So it's less specific to his girlfriend than...
Hang on, I'm looking up this exact line with all the context.
Okay.
Anything she needs, she can call me. Don't worry about her. That's my seed. Yep, that's all me.
Okay, he's talking about his daughter. Never mind.
He has to be. And
yeah,
his daughter was born in 2013, so, like, he's had a daughter for a while.
Let's remove the sample from the conversation for just a second.
Okay.
I also really like songs like this. Like, My Girlfriend is a Badass, and if you mess with her, she will fuck you up, is not a genre of song that we get very often. And so when we do get a song like that, especially one that is, I think this one is, I really, really like it. Like, it's a not very often explored spin on a normal love song. Like, we get it sometimes in country, but it's usually terrible.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I think Ed Sheeran pulls it off. I think Chance's verse is hilarious. I think part of the appeal for me is the lyrical conceit.
I'm just saying, I think that 21 Pilots did something similar to this theme and better on the song My Blood.
I mean, sure, I guess.
So when it comes to this sort of thing, I'll stick with that song. Just me.
That's fair.
What I will never want to stick with ever is the next song we're talking about, which is at number 62 this week. And it is Easier by 5 Seconds of Summer.
And that's another one. I did not know that they were still relevant.
Unfortunately. I mean,
I had not heard their name in a long time.
They had a huge hit. They had a huge hit last year called Youngblood, which I actually am quite fond of. But since then, all of their charting singles have just been terrible, and this song is no exception.
See, I remember them as kind of like a One Direction sort of ripoff. They were like One Direction with guitars, basically.
Yep.
Now it seems to me like they're sort of like trying to do like a Jonas Brothers ripoff. This song kind of reminded me of a Jonas Brothers song.
That is an interesting comparison. I actually really like this song. It's not my favorite song on the radio right now, but I like the beat. I think the auto-tune is just enough so that it sticks out, but not too much that it's annoying. The one problem I have with this song is the way he pronounces the word damn. He, like, rushes through it in the pre-chorus. Or is it the post-chorus? I don't remember. I like it. It's got a good groove. The hook's pretty solid. It's not as good as Youngblood, but overall I would say that 5 Seconds of Summer has improved for the most part.
I guess. I mean, I kind of liked She's Kinda Hot when that came out a few years back, honestly. I
Well,
can't lie.
we all have things we're not proud of.
Yeah, that is one of them. But with easier, I just think the falsetto with the auto tune is very grating, and in general, I'm not wild about the vocals on here. The production's a bit basic, and the lyrics are still whiny. It seems like every song they make these days are just so freaking whiny, and
That's fair.
Youngblood only worked because of the bombast, honestly. So yeah.
Yeah, I can see how you'd feel that way. What are your thoughts, Angus?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same thing. I didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. I did find it kind of grating, and just it doesn't seem like they really have an original bone in their bodies.
Oh, absolutely not.
Now, nothing they've ever put out has really sounded different in any way.
They
from
are
anything else.
incredibly derivative, will admit. Even this song is very derivative of Youngblood, and also it's a little Imagine Dragons-y. The good parts of Imagine Dragons, if they exist.
I actually do remember liking Imagine Dragons like when they were like kind of new. You know,
Yeah,
that was also
Most-
during the folk pop renaissance.
it was. It's a long, long time ago. There's a
Yeah.
lot of suck in between now and then.
I have, like I said, I'm only familiar with that first album.
You are a fortunate man. What was the next?
Oh, there's one other thing I want to say about Easier,
Oh,
which is
go ahead.
when the song first charted on Billboard Breakdown, Mark compared the groove of it to Closer by Nine Inch Nails, which, to be brutally honest, is one of, like, I despise that song. It is terrible, in my opinion. I know a lot of people love it, and fine, but I can't stand a single thing about it. And so when I heard Easier, I was kind of like embracing for the worst, and the groove is there, but it wasn't too blatant, so I was like, okay, this could have been a lot worse. But yeah.
But it gradually soured.
Well, it was just that it wasn't the groove that held the song back, it was just
Ah.
kind of everything in general.
I believe. Or what is our next song?
Our next song is at number 84 in this week, which is we never said this is the chart week of June 29th. So the next one at number 84 this week is Trampoline by Shade.
I actually really liked this one. I really liked the backing track in the beginning.
Yeah, the little. Da.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. And I'd never heard of them before. They are pretty new, though, I think, aren't they?
They're extremely new. This is the only
Yeah.
thing they've worth noting. I actually heard it on the radio like a week before it charted on the alternative station here. We actually finally got a really good alternative.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to compare it to, but I was pleasantly surprised to find it so low. not that it was low, but when I was listening to stuff that was really low, I was pleasantly surprised to find Trampoline.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I personally prefer the Jaws remix of it because it's a little bit harsher. Because the production is a tad coffee shop for me. The little, like, almost like watery sounds that it's got going on. Lyrically, though, and vocally, it is absolutely incredible. The melodies are so different from what you normally hear. And I've heard interesting interpretations over what this song could be about. One's mental health, deteriorating a relationship, even though you don't want it to, stuff that's a little more complex.
Don't remember much about the lyrics. I'd have to go look back at those.
You'll have to look back at it.
Hey,
Yeah, I can't really say I've paid attention to the lyrics much on this song, but they fit. I think that, like, ultimately the thing that holds the song back a bit is the fact that, like, there's, like, the build-up and then what drops is just the whistling, and it's not very strong. It could have been a lot stronger.
yeah.
And the interesting
that
thing
is what Jaws fixes about it.
The interesting thing is, when I first heard Trampoline, it was actually months ago, way before it charted, because it was used in an Apple commercial. And
It sounds like Apple commercial music, actually, now that I think about it.
it
It's
does.
the saddest Apple commercial ever. Like for that Pro stand that costs $1,000.
Yeah.
No, it was for a phone or a pad or something. But yeah, I would get it all the time when I would watch using the CW app, because I'm all about that Arrow and Flash and stuff. But
And Riverdale.
oh
And
yes,
Riverdale.
We don't talk about that, but yes. And yeah, with Trampoline, the commercial actually had the drop in it, and I didn't realize that it was such a big moment for the song. So when I first heard the
Yeah.
song and the moment hit, I was like, oh, that's it. Okay. So I think the song is good, but it could have been great, and that bugs me a little bit.
I'll send you that remix when this is over. It fixes all of those problems with dubstep because of course. But really low, not understated, but it's not screeching. What's the next one? Do we have any others?
We are on our final song, number 98. Almost off the charts, thank the Lord, because this song is bad.
Oh,
Because
do it.
she said, put my heart in the bag.
And nobody gets hurt.
Robbery by Juice World.
That is one I have
Oh.
not heard.
Okay, so my other roommate had a friend over, and that friend, when it was his turn to pick what music we played on the PlayStation, picked this song.
Who was it?
Oh, I don't remember. It wasn't one of the ones in his band.
Okay, was it Slade?
It might have been Slade. Of course,
I could see him not having the best taste in music.
Yeah, because doesn't this song sound like it would be enjoyed by somebody named Slade? He won't listen to this, so it's fine.
I haven't listened to it, so
This song is terrible.
Honestly,
anticlimactic.
yeah, it's like the only reason why I wanted to bring it up was just to scream that chorus. I do want to say one quick thing. There's a guy from Twitter and on YouTube, RGS.
Yes, he mashed it up with Nightmare.
With Nightmare.
It kind of works. It kind of works in a Taco Bell kind of way.
I was so shocked when I heard that. I'm like, this works, but it sounds like it came straight out of hell.
Yeah. Robbery peaked at number 27. It got into the top 30. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I think that's the podcast.
To those of you who actually listened to this whole thing, thank you, and I'm sorry. I hope you had fun with us, though. And, yeah, this has been the first of the Cynical podcast. And tune in next month where we talk about albums that we all really like. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm Matt.
I'm Henry.
I'm Angus.
And we're signing off.